Let's get the ball rolling with a simple example first. The objective of this example, and all upcoming examples too, is to create regular expressions to identify patterns. We'll always start with an input file. So for this example, here is our input file. Our input file is a text file with 6 strings, one on each line, as you can see. I have put some check marks and cross marks to the left of each string. This is just for explaining these are not part of the text file. Let me quickly show you what this text file really looks like. I'll bring up my Linux console on this screen. I have saved the contents in a file and have named it regex01.txt. So I'll display the contents of this file. Here you go. I have taken out the contents of this file and put it onto this presentation so that I can use visual aids to explain the steps involved. I could have walked you through this example on the terminal window itself, but it might end up being terse and boring without visual aids. So I'll close this window. We'll keep switching between our coding environment and the presentation as we progress. So the idea is to frame a regular expression to select some strings out of this input file and exclude the others. The strings with the green check mark on the left are the strings that I want to select. The strings with the red cross mark on the left are the strings that I want to exclude. This input file, along with the check marks and cross marks, makes up our requirement, or rather our problem statement. Our first step is to look out for patterns which make the green ones differ from the red ones. If you observe all the green ones, you will notice that they start with the string foo, F-O-O. Then they have repetitions of the letter A, and finally they end with the string bar, B-A-R. Let's take the first green one. It has foo followed by 4 A's followed by bar. The second green one has foo followed by a single A followed by bar. The third green one has a foo and a bar. It does not have any A's in between. But if you look at it in a different way, you can say that it has 0 A's in between. So we could say foo followed by 0 A's followed by a bar. The fourth and last green one has a foo followed by 2 A's followed by bar. How about the red ones? The first red one has a foo followed by 3 repetitions of the letter X followed by bar. The second and last red one has a foo followed by 1 repetition of the letter X followed by bar. So the clear differentiator between the green and red ones are the letters between foo and bar. The green ones have 0 or more occurrences of the letter A in between foo and bar. The red ones have the letter X instead of A. Now that we have made our observations, let's move to the next step. We have picked the 4 green ones alone and written them out in a separate list here. We'll use an imaginary dotted line vertical separator to divide the strings into sections. Here we have 2 such imaginary separators which divide each string into 3 different sections. The first section for all 4 strings is foo. This is fixed. The string foo never changes. It is common for all 4 strings. Similarly, the last section for all 4 strings is bar, which is also fixed. The middle section is a variable section. Here is where we need to bring in the pattern matching. We have 4 A's in the first string, 1 A in the second, 0 A's in the third, and 2 A's in the fourth. To represent this pattern, I'll introduce you to our first regex symbol, which is an asterisk or a star. So in regex language, if you write A star, it represents 0 or more occurrences of the letter A. If you were to say B star, it would mean 0 or more occurrences of the letter B. If we are to come up with a definition, it would be, it stands for 0 or more occurrences of the literal that immediately precedes the asterisk. So in case of A star, the literal that immediately precedes the star is A. So it means 0 or more occurrences of the literal A. Now that we have studied our first regex symbol, let's use this and move to our final step. In our final step, we have to come up with a single regex pattern that can represent all the 4 green strings. So we'll write foo as because it is fixed. Then we write A star, then we end with bar, which is again fixed. So foo A star bar. Please note that there are no spaces on either side of A star in the real regex string. I have just spaced it out a bit in this presentation so that the 3 sections look clearly separated. So we have a final product now, our first regex pattern. All that is left to do is to use a regex engine and try this out.